All right, 6 o'clock, I'm going to call the meeting to order. All board members are present. First up on the agenda is the review and approval of the August 26th public meeting minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the August 26th meeting minutes. Second.
We have a motion and a second. Any edits? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's accepted. The next meeting is here at Belmont High School on September 23rd. Next up, we have public communication and correspondence. And none. We'll move on to board member reports and start with Mark.
I think I had something, but it's been zero day. My apologies, I can't think of it right now. It was all good though.
Nice. Jill?
I actually did go to the welcome breakfast, and I had never been before, so it was lovely. It was very nice to just sit there and kind of see and talk to some of the teachers and welcome everybody back. So that was.
Did they highlight the new teachers and new staff? So it's good to put the names to the face of all the new.
Everyone got up, and all of the administrators have welcomed all the new people in their buildings.
Yep, to share your tactic on being allowed time to go do so. I was told no when I asked. No from my work.
Oh.
Yeah, no.
Michael's
Did that come out wrong?
That's what I thought. I was like,
No.
Everybody's welcome.
Yeah. No, that's not what I meant.
Call your boss for you.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm a very
Yeah.
understanding manager, but.
That's awesome.
we're in the first week of classes. I was like, I cannot get that time off. It's crazy. Yeah. All right. Principal reports. We have information in the packet. Start with Belmont Elementary School. Anything you want to highlight, or?
I think a couple things quickly. The teachers were happy to have 3 days at the beginning of the year again because they got time to set up their classrooms and stuff. So we got off to a really good start. Good, spirits were high and things. And that was one of the reasons. And I got a lot of positive feedback on our kindergarten transition program this year. So we screen kids and then try to get kids in who haven't had a lot of experience with other kids or in programs or have some kind of need. And it's really helped reduce the anxiety, I think, about our new kids coming in, which in turn reduces behavior. So. But I'm happy to answer any questions about anything else.
Any questions from the packet?
Nope.
Substitute nurse, how often are you getting that position? The
Yeah.
substitute.
Yeah, we've had a substitute in most days. There was one day we went without so far, but it's a struggle.
Yeah.
Trying to get, because nurses can make a lot more money elsewhere. So we have a few that are willing to sub. It's just working around their schedules, and they get their schedules a week or two in advance. So it's a week by week type of thing right now.
And we're still advertising.
We are. We're actually looking to contract the service as well. Unfortunately, that's where we're at right now.
What's the positives and negative of the contracted service?
The negative, I don't see really any positive except filling the position. The negative is that they're not our employee and the cost is triple of what we would be paying.
Including salary.
Because the contractor, the contracted service, we're also paying benefits and whatever cut the service provider's taking as a business.
Would you keep that position posted? Even
Absolutely.
no contract?
Absolutely.
So just for purposes of conversation, if contracted service would be triple if we advertised it at double, do you think we'd get something?
Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just.
The pool is shallow.
Right.
One of the problems is that, the nurses are recognized in the collective bargaining agreement, so they have to go along with the salary scale that we have in the collective bargaining agreement. We can't step outside of that.
Yep.
That's where we struggle because we're competing with private businesses that are paying a lot more than even the top of our salary scale could offer.
I spoke with 8 candidates who applied, and the majority of them turned it down because of money.
Is it typical that nurses are part of the CPA?
That's my question.
I'm not sure.
I'm just curious if, like, are we an outlier?
We're not an outlier, but we found the same thing with the specialists years ago.
Right.
We couldn't compete and find psychologists and stuff, so at that point, we removed them during negotiations. We haven't had a problem until this year, it's more of a problem. But nursing in general has become more expensive.
But the consideration for any of those changes come during the course of negotiations, actually.
That's correct.
I guess the last question I have is, when it comes to advertising for the nursing position, I'm assuming that are we advertising outside of our typical teacher advertisement locations? Like,
I haven't yet, but I'm going to start doing that. And part of the thing is we have not had any problem getting applicants, it's just we don't pay enough. So I can certainly advertise in the papers. I'm not sure it's gonna do much, but we can do that.
I mean, what's the school spread?
Yeah.
I just.
Yeah, so we had plenty of applicants.
Plenty of our.
I mean, he had 8 that he interviewed. And typically that would be enough for a nursing position.
I don't know if nurses would think to go to school spring.
We can have
What do you hear about
And there's no process to pull that position out of collective bargaining outside of the negotiations here.
That's a bit-
Well, if the board wanted to request
To
to the SREA,
I don't know. I'm just adding that question. I don't know if it would be worthwhile.
But then both parties have to agree and it has to go to the PELRB to be approved to have them removed. You can't just agree to it.
negotiations are underway this coming summer. Collective bargaining agreement. Time flies.
Yeah.
The 5-year contract is long.
I mean, just to follow up on what Mark's saying, like, maybe we're fine for right now, we've got substitutes, but if we get like 2 or 3 months into the year, and we start having trouble with substitutes and we can't fill the position, I don't know why we wouldn't consider, opening it up or starting the negotiation a little bit earlier and putting that out there. Yeah, I'm fine right now, but as the season goes on, we consider.
Okay.
Any other questions? Thank you. All right. Canterbury Elementary School.
I just want to echo what Ben shared. Having the 3 days this year was really, really nice. We had a lot of time for staff to collaborate with each other. We are very fortunate to have some new staff who are really bringing some nice things to the table, and a lot of new students. Our kindergarten class that we brought in had 28, and of course the group we graduated out to the middle school was only 9. So between that and some move-ins, our numbers are up by 20 right now, which is a lot for our little school, but we've had a really fantastic start. It's really positive in the building, everyone's excited. A lot of older siblings and younger siblings this year, and it's really nice to see the older siblings looking out for their youngers, helping them feel comfortable at school and know where to go, and helping dry the tears on the first couple of days. But all has been going very smoothly. Any questions? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Belmont Middle School.
Hi, everyone. Very similar, great start. Teachers appreciated the 3 days for sure. Lots of positivity around the building. It was great to have kids come in and, get right to work. So We highlight in our summer, we had lots of work done around the building, so the school looks great, from stuff outside to some painting and murals and thing inside. So it's looking pretty sharp. We've highlighted a lot of student work, a lot of artwork that was done over the last couple of years, and so we're happy to see all that stuff. It just, honestly, what it does is it just makes people happy when they come in, right? They're seeing all these nice things that are being done, and it creates an environment where people want to come. So, yeah, excited about that.
You mentioned the conference room.
Yeah.
What purposes, like what groups use that?
Yeah, I mean, right now it's a lot of that's where we hold a lot of our special ed meetings. So anytime we have a meeting with a family or teachers, things like that, we use the conference room. And it just, prior to that, we'd have a lot of lunch groups in there, so you'd find little snacks on the floor and crumbs on the chair and stuff like that. So we wanted to kind of create that space.
Is that near the office?
Our school counseling suite, so there are school counselors, and then on the right side, if you're facing their offices on the end there. So we've moved, we created kind of another small space where our school counselors can have lunches without having to, have to pick up afterwards, in time for a meeting, things like that. So really great, actually, as you kind of read. I worked with our picture company, Guess, a photographer, took them around both Canterbury and Belmont. We took some pictures. So we took a bunch of pictures, but we chose 5 to put up in the conference room. So we have a couple pictures that highlight each of the towns, which was really neat, actually.
Questions?
Electronic devices, says things are going well, and
Yeah, it's not much of a difference for us. It was always really often in your locker.
yeah, good.
Got a few questions around like the wireless earbuds, but we've never really allowed those anyway. So it's not an issue for the middle school.
Hasn't been too painful.
Not at all.
Good.
Nope.
I guess I'll ask the middle school and the high school, but middle school first. More calls to the office, or volume about the same?
Anything in regards to what?
Cell phone, the lack of cell phone usage now that parents, they can't call their student during the middle of the day, so they have to call their
No, I wouldn't say yet. I mean, we've implemented Pickup Patrol too, which also helps out. So they can do that electronically if they're changing their dismissal, so that certainly helps. So that prevents a call, or there's no need to make a call if you're using Pickup Patrol the way that it's designed to do. So not necessarily yet anyway.
Anything else? Thank you. And Belmont High School.
Hello, everyone. At the high school, it's been a great start as well. I do think the third day this year, having that back in the rotation, helped teachers be more prepared, right off the start for students to come in. Tried to provide them as much classroom time as possible this year, especially on that third day. We had freshman orientation kind of in the morning. I know I alluded to that in the packet. That was very successful. But teachers, they come back from a long weekend and students are ready to go. Put some hiring updates in there. Mr. Fish has joined us to complete our 5-person English department. So we are full in our English department, leaving 1 teaching position open. That's the special ed teacher position, which we have not had an applicant to for months at this point. We had one, as I think the board knows, over the summer that we were hopeful for, but that didn't work out. In terms of support staff, we've had some open one-to-one behavioral support positions, and we've been able to kind of finagle things to be in compliance, but certainly not in an ideal way for our students who have those types of supports in their IEPs. Today, I interviewed 2 new candidates, and on Thursday, I have a third coming in. So, there's the potential by the end of the week that we're going to be in even better shape there. One thing that has come up, and this is kind of interesting, and the more I've thought about it, the more it made sense, is candidates for positions in the support staff roles asking about the potential for course reimbursement. So I know that that's something that has to get into negotiations and things like that for support staff contracts. But with the number of positions that we have open in our faculty or support staff every year, it seems like something that would be worthy of consideration. If we have a support staff member who joins us because they want to work with students, but they're not teaching certified yet, but they can come to us, they can start working with us, they can get to know our school and our community while they're working toward becoming a licensed teacher. That might not be an opening, that might be somebody we kind of adopt long-term in a faculty position. So it'd be great if that could be part of at least a consideration or conversation. So the parking lot, absolutely fabulous. We made some adjustments. We've got the drop-off area that you probably saw when you came in today. The bathrooms, they look great, the partitions, not to mention the sinks and things like that were redone in some of the bathrooms. It really, really looks sharp. Last year, I feel like a lot of things really started to catch fire here, and in terms of like school spirit. The feeling and the tone and the culture in the building was really starting to pick up pace. When we do things like that, and when we clearly prioritize and take pride in our campus and our environment, the kids do too. So it's really been a nice feeling, and I appreciate the board's support in projects like that. Freshman orientation went well. We did day one class meetings to go over all the changes for this year. Yes, including the personal electronic devices policy. The kids were great on day one. They asked a few clarifying questions. They all came in knowing. This was not a shock to any of the students who walked in our buildings those first few meetings. But again, they had really good clarifying questions to make sure that they kind of knew what the bounds were. Today was our 6th day of school. We have had a total of 5 devices that have been surrendered to the office in 6 days, so less than 1 per day. I'm as surprised as you are that the kids have adopted it just as well as they have. Faculty and staff are being great. They're modeling it terrifically. It's everything is really, really in good shape, and no kid is coming down there saying that they didn't know. It's all very much out there. Hewitt and the Winnisquam Career Center, we've got great relationships with that group. 81 kids are participating in one or the other program. Terrific. It's a really positive thing that we've been able to do. We redesigned the measure for habits of work this year. I know last year there was consideration about being more clear and more consistent, so we did some work around that. We created some building-wide measuring tools that we work with our faculty on, and those were distributed. This week is the first week that teachers have habits of work grades due. So we'll see how that goes. We'll do some reflection on it, but we're hopeful now that we have a tool. Again, we really have been doing a lot of work these last few years to refine some of our practices. And I took a moment in my report to throw some kudos to our faculty council. It's a group of individuals oftentimes who come back year after year to participate as leaders of their departments. And they spend time with us in the summer to reflect on things. They're great liaisons, they're great voices for their departments, as well as kind of go between for our voices to the departments as well, what we need them to do. Didn't have a chance to report a couple of things in my report because they just happened this week, but I absolutely wanted to highlight them. Every year, Cayman and I attend the annual NHIA meeting. Most of the athletic directors and or principals from around the state are there in Concord talking about the year, reminders about some practices and policies, updates from the NHIA, and then they do recognitions. Mr. Foley, our soccer coach, recognized for being a soccer coach for 25 years, which that in and of itself is a heck of an accomplishment. Scott Clark, who if kids are running at Belmont High School, he has something to do with it, depending, regardless of which season it is. He was recognized by the track community and this is by the coaches, who wanted to make sure he got a shout out for the positivity that he has demonstrated and the impacts that he has made on New Hampshire, track and field and running events. Then you might remember at the beginning of the year last year, one of the highlights honestly was the first couple of weeks of the school year for me. Belmont High School was awarded the 2023-24 sportsmanship banner for all of Division III. We got kids together in the gym, we took some pictures, it was really, really a proud moment. And then we went on, as you know, to win a whole lot of games and a whole lot of championships last year. So 2 years ago, again, we were recognized for that. And I'm proud to say that this year, we're coming home once again, this time with the runner-up Award, which is number 2. In all of Division III, that's almost 30 schools. Berlin High School was awarded the Sportsmanship Award for last school year, and we took number 2. And for a school that not only won this award the previous year, but also to have had the level of on-field success that we did, I take a lot of pride in this. This is not the banner that will end up on the wall. I think that they were having a little delay in their printing, but I appreciate the NHIA gave us this one as a little placeholder until we get the nice fabric one that'll go up on the wall. About 4 or 5 minutes later, they continue to give awards and recognitions for last school year. And our own Mr. Bellier was named the 2024-25 Division III Athletic Director of the Year. So I want to make sure that he gets that recognition. Again, it was Monday, so I couldn't get in until the 4th. So, we continue to do really great things. We're very proud of it. Again, you're talking about school pride and all these projects. It's feeding itself into everything that we do. So thank you for your support, and happy to answer any questions.
Along with when you're talking about the student buy-in and participation and stuff, I've seen, I guess, online where students and parents have the ability to paint an image in a parking spot for them,
Yep.
for themselves. I just love the idea. Obviously, there has to be some control about what happens.
Yeah.
But especially with the parking lot looking as good as it does, I think that'd be a pretty neat honor, for seniors, to be able to do that.
I've seen that senior spaces idea. Honestly, my concern was about how nice. And, does that mean we're going to get out there with black rollers and go back over it? But I'm not against the idea, but I'm sure Steve would want to weigh in a time or two. But I agree, and as you walk through our building every year, we've got more color here. Things are starting to explode. So again, I'm very, very proud of where we are right now and where we're heading.
I'd like to note on the parking lot that the design out there was designed by our students. Correct, Mr. Finch?
Yes. So Nancy Bordeaux in our computer graphics class, I went to them and said, look, we've got this big project going on. You all know that we've got safety issues that are going on in our parking lot, particularly with the pass-through lanes and things like that. So what I would like for you to do is get some aerial shots. Let's design it. I'll come in. You give me some pitches here, and we'll end up, going to Mr. Dalzell and the engineer and show them what your outcomes were. And really, the majority of what's out there right now was designed by students.
I guess just one more thing. You kind of hit on it, like that sportsmanship award. I take pride in that. I think that's something we should strive for. So when we got it, whatever, last year, the year before, that was great. I'll say it a little more bluntly than you did, but it's easy to win the sportsmanship award when your teams stink. But when you're a good program and you have a bunch of winning teams, I've seen games where the winning team is, they don't have any class. And I feel like our programs, even when they were winning, were, had sportsmanship, had class, had, empathy for the other team and everything. So I think, that's just as impressive as, the one that we won last year.
Yeah. It starts, with leadership in each of the programs. And obviously Cayman works there and, maneuvering people around, but we put really good people in our coaching positions who expect that our students are going to win the right way and lose the right way, and whatever it is, we're going to represent the towns and the school. So 100%. When we won a championship, I was proud of the way the kids would conduct themselves, literally in the middle of the court or middle of the ice or whatever, and celebrating. So it's great.
Questions?
Thank you very much.
All right. We have next up the business administrator report. We got the school here.
This is an annual appointment that the board makes.
Make a motion to appoint Debbie Thompson as the employer representative to the school care annual meeting, and Marilyn Nelson, the payroll and benefits coordinator, as the alternate.
Okay. Let that go.
Yeah.
All right, do we have a motion and a second? All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. And
The next one is the budget development calendar. And there are no changes from the attorney.
So we do have something on Veterans Day. Which we've discussed in the past, whether or not we should, it's 11/11.
Which is a board.
But I think on our board meeting calendar, it was moved to 11/12.
Okay.
So I can fix that.
is it 11/11 a Tuesday?
Yes. And so I had. I think online.
I'll fix that and get that out.
And
I tried to print that off. It didn't like me trying to print it. I was supposed to see it as a PDF, so it's good that I can do.
Oh, I guess the one thing I had a question about was deliberative session. When did we do the deliberative session last year? Was it a Saturday morning?
It was a Saturday, because it was a
Oh,
snow day.
yeah.
so we want to do a Saturday.
I mean, my memory's horrible, but I do remember, and again, there could have been some touchy topics or whatever, but the turnout was pretty decent. And so I remember that takeaway as, maybe we should be doing that on Saturday. I don't know if I want to get up on Saturday, but I also want to make sure that we have it on a day that works best for everybody.
Well, I got mixed feedback. It felt like a lot of parents in the school felt like they couldn't use it on Saturdays because that's their time with their families. So that was the other side of that coin.
I do remember that.
I think we also talked about it, the town does theirs that Saturday, that I think you were talking about, the town does their deliberative session on that Saturday we were talking about.
It tends to be the Saturday
Yeah.
prior.
Yeah.
Because we were talking about doing that,
Yeah.
the town does their deliberative that day.
Everybody's prefers the evening. I
think we have the most participation we've ever had on this. I think we did in a long time, I should say.
We could probably, how about if we add to the calendar, because we don't have a snow date for the deliberative.
Me
We
too.
do? Oh, that's
February
that.
6th.
Okay,
It's a Friday.
that's a Friday. Maybe we move that to a Saturday as a snow day.
I don't like Friday at 6 p.m.
Yeah, I think we get fewer people there, so let's do that Saturday, maybe. That makes sense.
Yep, you still can do the deliberative on Thursday, and then just having the Saturday be the implementator. What time would you have that? What time is the town's?
We did 10 a.m.
So we would do 10 a.m. Yeah. Okay.
Do we just want to list them on the schedule as option 1, option 2, and we can come to a more definitive answer as we get closer, or do we need to make a decision now?
I prefer we just nail it down now.
Okay.
Whatever we want to do. And Thursday and Saturday is, I guess, consistent with what we did last year.
It'll be, I mean, whatever we do, we will not.
We'll be wrong.
Right. Right, like,
I don't have a strong opinion either way, but I wanted to bring up that.
Bob,
Not very much, but stick with the Thursday,
Thursday, Saturday.
Okay, anything else there?
Nope.
Superintendent report.
Just going to echo the positivity of the opening of the school year in general. Alice did a great job highlighting the strategic plan at the welcoming day with all of our staff. We had close to 300 people in the gymnasium. We started off with breakfast in the caf, and then we moved into the gymnasium. I'm also feeling very fortunate, as always, about our administrative team in this district. They do an amazing job not only planning those 3 days, but also representing our district and our schools very well. So I feel fortunate as a superintendent to have our administrative team. We did something different this year, other than just moving people into the cafeteria. We actually recognized years of service for all of our staff and provide them with a pin based on their years of service. So as I was floating around the district, seeing people wear their pins, it was nice to see, and got a lot of positive feedback for the welcoming days in the first 3 days. It seemed like staff felt like they had ample time to be in their classrooms and work as either grade levels or departments. It was just really, it was great. And that has rolled right into the first week of school and also into this first full week of school. So really, really pleased with the start of the school year, and things are going really well. And that's really all I have this evening.
All right, questions, Michael? Do you have home chart? You provide?
Yeah, so these are accurate as of this board report, and if anyone has any questions, I'd be happy to answer those. The principals are here also, if there's any specific staffing questions that you might have. The vacancies are on there as well, so we have been fortunate that we've been able to hire certified staff as well as support staff. There are still some vacancies, but not like we've seen in the past. So if anyone has any questions, we'd be happy to address them.
Let's see the.
Go ahead. I have a question for the elementary school. So, Mr. Hill, you have 10 classroom assistants. Are they associated with teachers or grade levels, or how are those dispersed?
Yeah, they're with the lower grade levels, they're just in the primary grades. So kindergarten classrooms and first grade classrooms typically have an assistant in the classroom all the time. And then the other two are assigned to second grade and help out with third and fourth grade when they need to.
So all of the grade levels have access to classroom assistants?
No, I wouldn't say that.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, they help out with stuff like in the morning, bringing stuff to the office and things like that, but they don't have access to a classroom assistant in the sense that they can go in and do a reading group or something like that, or a small group, like they're doing in the smaller classrooms.
So the reason I'm asking, I'm just trying to get staffing, because my question for CES, see the way the org chart looks is that all 10 classroom assistants are supporting all grade levels. And then on
Because of the way it's drawn.
Because of the way it's, and then on CES, which maybe this is how it is. It looks to me like you have a classroom assistant that one is only supporting kindergarten, then you have a classroom assistant that's only supporting second grade, and then a classroom assistant that's only supporting third grade. Or
So that's pretty close. So I have 3 classroom assistants, and one is always shared between the 2 kindergarten classes so that they have that extra support for those younger kids. Then the other 2, I look at where the greatest need and the biggest class sizes are. So the biggest class size right now is third grade with 25 students. So she has that classroom assistant to herself. Then the third person is shared between second and fourth.
Okay. And so how do you, Mr. Hill, like, I'm just trying to figure out how, if we look at staffing, how are the 10 divvied up?
One in each kindergarten class, one in each first grade class, and the last two in second grade. So they're split between 4 second grades. Teachers make a schedule for them.
Okay. So third and fourth are like don't really get them.
Right.
Just so I know. Okay.
Yeah, they used to have the support, but when we reduced the number of
Yep.
assistants, the biggest needs in the primary grades, obviously, where those kids are getting used to being in school and more behaviors for teachers that need support.
So this is nitpicky, but from an org chart perspective, I think it should line up with where people work. So for example, at CES, the person that's covering the second and fourth, we just have a line to second and fourth. That makes sense, right? I don't know who designs the org charts and what program they use. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we could look at it.
Just make it more accurate.
Yeah.
I see the resource officer is listed as vacant. Is there a plan with that?
We did have a candidate, and that candidate backed out. I should say the Belmont Police Department had a candidate, and they backed out, and my understanding is there aren't any other candidates at this point. I'm not hopeful at this point, because it's a part-time position, and after attending the Belmont Board of Selectmen and Budget Committee joint meeting, I wasn't getting the sense that they're able to bring in full-time officers. So right now, we're just working with the officers that are on staff for any school needs. So unfortunately, I'm not hopeful that we're going to be able to fill that position.
Can you remind me what the process is for advertising and I guess hiring that position? Is that all in the town? And
Yes.
we jump in afterwards to see if they'd be a good candidate?
Yeah. It's all run through the Belmont Police Department, because the position is their employee. So they facilitate all of that. And then the candidate that we did have went through the interview process with the police department, and then they came to meet with us, our administrative team. Unfortunately, we should back down.
One other question. Is the only place we have Title I right now at BES?
Yes,
Okay, because of
EMS didn't qualify.
didn't qualify. And do we, are we supporting math and reading in all grade levels? Like, what are we doing in Title I?
It's school-wide, so yes, Mr. Hill, correct.
They focus on literacy primarily.
Okay.
Yeah.
In grades K to 4, is there
Well, we start K and work our way up as far as we can. Typically, it's difficult to schedule in grade 4 by the time we've scheduled all the other grades. And we're doing that based on our dyslexia studios.
correct?
So all the students that don't meet the thresholds require intervention, and you need to understand that process.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you do K through 3 first.
A very basic question, but what qualifies a school for, I don't know, middle school?
The major criteria is the percentage of reproduced.
So the middle school can qualify.
Just under the threshold.
Well, they were under the threshold, plus the fact that Canterbury is a K-5 school, there's 5th grade between the two schools, so that bumps Belmont High School as a qualifier prior to the middle school.
Other questions? Other than what that sounds?
Yeah.
That's the elevator.
Elevator? Like, it's going up there. That's a long one.
I'm like, where's
I'd
it?
rather go to the page.
Okay.
Penthouse.
I'm like, where's it going?
All right, any other questions on the org chart? Next up is on the horizon. How are we looking for advisory board?
I've had 4 requests so far.
Great.
Something like
Oh, one town or
Canterbury, Belmont.
No, it's both.
Oh, yes, we are. Have a good night. What's the deadline?
The Friday before the next board meeting.
the next.
Because it'll be in your September 26th board packet. Or September 23rd, so. Yeah, it'll be in the 23rd board packet.
Is the meeting with town officials on the 14th or the 28th?
It's 48.
Okay, because we still have the Canterbury town officials on the 14th. And then we also technically meet with Belmont town officials tonight, but suppose that,
That's not happening.
suppose that is sooner.
All right, anybody wants to discuss a topic? It's time for it.
We could revisit, please don't cringe when I say it, but most of the class sizes, you know, I have a daughter that's in class of 3, and she has some friends that are in classes between 3 and 5. I don't know if it's something that we at least get that information before we start, you know, down the budget rabbit hole, or
When do we start with the budget books?
First meeting in October.
And you don't have official numbers until what, 30 days after the.
October 1st is really our slow close to the state. Those are enrollment numbers that Mark's talking about class size at the high school. I think if we're going to provide those, we're going to wait for after drop ahead. Things are still in motion right now.
Yeah.
But we'd be happy to get those.
I mean, I think at the very least, we should have that information as part of the budget book.
Okay. We'll do that. We'll do it in the format for the meeting last year.
you know, definitely conflicted. I mean, it's the class that my daughter's in is great, that it's, you know, that I know that it's small, but, you know, sitting here and trying to be fiscally, you know, minded and, you know, represent taxpayers, it's definitely a compliment.
And just to be clear, I don't think it's just high school. I mean, elementary schools are pretty easy to figure out, but I think the middle school as well.
Right.
So you looking for all schools or just the middle and high?
I say middle and high because I can do the math on the count. I know how many classrooms there are. You know. I just think that should be like a standard piece of the budget book every year. Just keep tabs.
I've been asked to, have you been able to get the combined bus schedule for when bus 11 is not available?
We have not,
Okay.
and that's not for lack of effort.
Is there a reason why your students submitted, so they submitted all of the schedules and everything with the stops, and you said they submitted that one as a different format?
Different format, yeah, it's very confusing.
Why?
Because they didn't have the double up schedule in Versatrans, which is where those schedules are coming from. So they have to input those alternative routes into Versatrans manually. And so that it prints it out in that format.
They wouldn't need it ahead of time if they had to combine, say, tomorrow?
They know what it is, it's a matter of the manual input into person trainings.
And it just seems odd that they didn't have that available, and when you asked, they gave it in a different format.
Yes. You know,
Like,
It's
they
been
had
frustrating.
issues with transparency, I feel like, last school year, and so this just seems a little bit off.
yeah, absolutely.
Have
Well,
there been issues with
sure.
buses so far?
Yes. We've had some issues, particularly with some of our athletic teams, buses arriving early, as well as not necessarily communicating changes to the schools that might happen. So there's things that we need to address. Also, have noted that buses from other districts are coming into our district, which raises my question, where are our buses that we pay for?
I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have,
Guilford one.
I'm letting this
On the
week,
Laurel Road the other day.
I'm letting this week run through, and then next week I'll probably schedule a meeting to get this all squared away.
I expect some little messiness at the beginning of the school year.
Exactly.
We always have that.
Right.
Feels like it should be getting better.
And so one of the things I'm concerned about is that our depot picked up Barnstead as a new contract. So now our depot is managing another school district as well. You know, fortunately, they were able to bring in another dispatcher with that transition. However, that doesn't necessarily put any, it doesn't lessen the burden of the managerial aspect of running a depot, so I'm very curious.
Or the staff.
Right, so more's been put on their plate, and we weren't notified that that was happening. First Student is a for-profit private business. They're going to run their own business. However, it potentially would impact the other, I believe, 7 districts that are part of that depot. So, just as I was last year, I'm going to be on again this year. Keep running into these issues.
All right. Next up is the volunteer list.
Make a motion to accept the volunteer list with no exceptions.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. And we have the enrollment report.
Yeah, you can see, and again, this is, wait till the October 1st enrollment. This, you take this with a grain of salt. Our current total district-wide is 1,108 students. That's 7 students fewer than when we left in June.
Oh, that, and the alarming number is 46 less than same time last year.
Correct.
So I'm assuming part of that was a large class graduating out. But, I mean, it's not all of it.
Right.
Well, and I don't know with the education freedom account numbers increased.
I don't know if our numbers have increased, but we definitely have plenty of families that are taking advantage of that in our school community.
Correct, so I don't know if it impacted our numbers, but we have an increase because it's on the department's website, in terms of our towns taking advantage of that, but we don't know if those are families who already had their children in private school or were already homeschooling. So we don't know that.
Yeah, I read an article on that today, as a matter of fact, that
Right.
the majority of those monies are going to those families that already have students in private schools,
Right.
as well as in homeschool programs. So, and they've already met their cap for the number of students. And just looking at an increased cost, significant millions of dollars that impact the education fund that comes to us for adequacy in our public schools, so. have to keep an eye on it, it's really out of our control.
Oh, I know. I just wondered the correlation between lower numbers compared to last year versus.
Anything else on the enrollment? Internal policy.
These are all coming to you for first reading today, with the exception of this first one, EGAA, which is the personally owned network communication devices. We're proposing to remove that one because with the new policy from the bell to bell, that is no longer applicable. So we do have some updates made to these other 5.
Would the state language just come in and replace our EGAA, or would there,
So
or
we created a
should
new
we
policy
create
for
a
it.
new? Okay.
So this one is just, it's not applicable anymore.
I'll make a motion to eliminate policy EGAA.
Second.
Motion and a second. A quick question would be, when I read EGAA, not having any kids in the school district, I read it as somebody who's coming to an event or a game or something in the gymnasium. And it talks about, I always do, like, yeah, I had the guest network. Is that covered in our other?
It's covered in other policies.
Another policy. We did last year, I think.
Yeah.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion, so by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes.
So with some of these other ones, you'll see there are definitely some significant changes. Brings it more in line with what the New Hampshire School Boards Association policies are.
It's like HPA, the cursive, I mean, yeah, italicized stuff. That's coming from the school board's policy.
Yes, so all of the italicized and bolded, with the exception of those all came from the New Hampshire School Boards Association policy. We realized it was missing from ours and thought it was important, like an important add.
Question about HPA. At the bottom, any employee who so acts will. Number 3, so just a question of philosophy, and then depending on that philosophy, should we swap the two, or swap the two things in there? Is the more appropriate or first consequence to be discharged from position, or would something of a lesser be the first course of action? Because the way I read it is it's likely to be discharged, however, we may not.
So in a way, you can phrase it, be subject to appropriate discipline.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Should we reverse those two?
That's a great suggestion.
Good idea.
Is IAC instructional approach also school board related changes?
Yes, so the New Hampshire School Boards Association had that fifth item there, and I thought that based on our strategic direction, that actually was a very timely change to make.
On the curriculum adoption, does that include habits of work? and like the changes that were being discussed tonight?
That does not, because that's not specific to curriculum.
Okay. Yeah.
These are information only, so happy to answer any questions if anyone come up.
We do need action on it. Oh, action was already taken.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you. Next up, we have Appendix B Nominations. Those are the non-public documents. I have a request on the data format. If possible, could we sort that by season? Because I know the co-curriculars may be all year long, but in some cases we have winter listed, fall, and I guess what I was trying to figure out is what fall positions have we not filled yet? So it would just be easier to see if all the fall stuff was together.
Okay.
So do we have fall stuff?
Maybe volleyball and BES.
So there's well, I guess that leads me to another question. So if there's clever an activity that spans multiple seasons, not sport seasons, but seasons, do we approve that on every cycle, or do we just approve it once for the entire school year?
Just doing it once for the entire year.
Kind of like the co-curriculars.
Right.
Right. That's what I'm talking. Yep.
Is there a way, just looking towards budget season, is there a way that we can see if there are any of these that have not had an advisor for, a significant period of time, or?
That's what our Appendix B committee looks at
Yeah.
every
And
October.
then possible student enrollment in that?
Look at that as well.
We asked the principals for that information as well.
BHS JV soccer girls. Is there a BHS JV soccer girls period? Doesn't look like we have a coach. I assume it isn't in the team. It's typically a small.
We'll quote me on that.
So I also see the CES and BES robotics line items that they don't have any amount.
There's no stipend this year.
Okay.
We're just trying to get the list of all of the Appendix B so we know who's doing what.
Okay.
And I have seen a lot of talk about the BMS soccer grade 5, 6. Is it 5, 6? I think it's that doesn't look like it has anybody yet.
Correct.
I'm assuming the season's started on.
Which must be maybe cuts. Interesting.
Yeah. If you recall in the past, Cayman has always mentioned that that's a very difficult program to run.
Do we still have a destination imagination coordinator?
No, we do not. Years. We'll probably take that off. Oh, that's right. Thank you, Debbie. Just scrap it.
I was just wondering.
Never took it off?
No,
It's at the bottom.
we knew it wasn't being filled, but it's never been requested to be removed.
Did you form a request for the superintendent?
No.
Since it's a district wise.
They put that in a quote.
Get it in the minutes.
And we actually just suspended them, we don't remove them. And then we mark them as suspended. So they don't have to do a new charter all over again.
Yeah, like, I'm looking at like the JV softball, I think, in a lot of years, like, how long do we keep it in there before just putting it
still part of the collective bargaining, so we can put it as suspended, and usually when I reach out to the coaches and advisors and, you know, the principals, that's when we find out which ones need to be suspended. So,
It seems like maybe after 4 years, if it hasn't run, you might want to suspend it, so it's not just
right.
buying up space and money.
The astrology club, we suspended that, astronomy club, we suspended it, and then the year after we suspended it, they started it up again.
Well, I mean, and you can typically look at participation and what middle school,
Yeah.
you know what's typically coming.
All right, if there are no questions on a non-public, make sure we can take action on this.
Make a motion to approve the Appendix B Nominations.
Second.
Right. All those in favor of the motion, do so by saying aye.
Aye.
I'm going to abstain,
So,
so we have 5 votes.
And that's for the Appendix B? Okay.
All right, public communication correspondence? I do have a non-public session, so take a motion to